This is a walkthrough of December 2023. What's my flight number? I have a list of cities and 2 different airport codes that they could have, and then a list of flight routes and the distance and departure time for each. Okay, so first off, we're going to take these codes and turn them into some named ranges. So what is the departure city for each one? Let's take the left 3 characters. And then look it up. That would be in the IATA code, and bring back the city. Okay. Assuming the airline adopts all the following 10 flight schedule, how many kilometers are flown in total? Okay, over here in the distance, we've got the km in there. We need to take it out. We can do that with a Control F. So find km and replace it with nothing. And then if I replace all, so 103 of those, and then let me just make them numbers. Okay, and then I need to take the data and split it. Column delimiter semicolon. That looks good. Okay, I'll look up each one of those. Oh, but I need to make something that I can look that up with. So if I come to my table, let me make a new column called route code. I will look up the city in the lookup table, and then return the IATA code, and then concatenate that with look up the other city, the destination in the city column, and return the IATA code. Okay, so now I have the flight codes for all of that. Little OCD moment there, and then let's take all of that schedule and create named ranges. All right. Now I can look up all of this string that I just created, put it up here, and look it up in the route codes, and then return the distance. Changes all of those to numbers, and now I should be able to sum all of those. And that number matches with that, so it looks good. Let me copy this formula down. And then I can sum all of that and copy it down. Okay, good. So far so good. Now on level 3, we have to assign some flight codes or some flight numbers in the order that they're given. This is now long enough that I'm going to split it out on a separate page. Let me put in a new sheet. I'll start with example 3 and look up that in this column right here, and then return from the flight information there. Okay, first thing, let's split that out. This time I want to split down the rows. So get the text, not a column delimiter, but a row. And then I can, that'll be my flight number. I need to figure out if, let's split out the origin as the text that's before the hyphen, and then I'll do the destination as the text that is after the hyphen. Oh, text after hyphen. Okay, then, is it a Canada flight? If, a couple of conditions to test, if the origin is equal to YUL, or the destination is equal to YUL, or if the origin is equal to YYZ, or the destination is YYZ, close off the or, then it's a Canada flight, then I want to put a 1, otherwise we can put a 0, and copy that down. Now for the flight number, I need to have the numbers that have 7s in them. So let me take some space, I'll make a sequence, go up to something bigger than I think I'll ever need, and then for the 7s, let me find in here, find in there a 7. So any number that has a 7 in it, any number in this list with a 7 now puts back a 1. So I could, let's do this. Is this a number? That changes to true and falses, and that makes it so that I can filter these numbers based on the values in that true-false column. Okay, good. So now I have something that's the 7s. Let me go ahead and make a named range out of that. Okay. So now your flight number will start at 0, and then if this is a 0, just take the previous flight number and add 1. But otherwise, it would be a Canada flight, so then you need to take your previous flight number and add 1, but then look for that in this list and give me the next bigger number. I just lost the whole thing. Okay, so this is going to be look up in 7s, return from 7s. There we go. You won't find that exact number, but if you change the match mode to look for the next larger item, so that should be good. And I take that back. Okay, copy it down. There we go. So Canada flight has a 7, not Canada, not Canada, Canada, not. Okay, so that flight number is working. Then what is the last number, 107? That matches with what they had in the example. So it's working. Let's make a data table for level 3. It's going to be that. And have a sequence of 20 rows. Start at 31. Create a data table. A1. Okay, these should be my answers. Level 4. Now to do the flight numbers, no more Canada 7s rule, but start from the earliest departure, and if there's a return flight, it needs to be the next number. Okay, so I want to change my lookup. Let me just, yeah, let's go here. So we're going to go example 4. But my data is not in the same spot that it used to be. So look it up in here, do 4 and 5, and when you find it, return. I need the 41 and the data. Okay, up to row 106, up to row 146. There we go, 146 to, okay. Okay, so there's my data. So this will still work if I just, there. So the text split, origin, destination, doesn't matter about Canada anymore. Take that off. So I've got my original flight, and then I need to know what the return flight would be. The return flight would be, put the destination first, and then put the origin. But they might not all be an actual return flight. So I need to look up those flights in my list of scheduled flights. If you find it, then return it from there. If you don't find it, return nothing. Okay, and then let's have a departure time. Look up the flight in your route codes and return the departure time. And then you also have the return, which would be to look up the return flight in your route code and return a departure time. Oh, and if not found, put that in. If not found, bring back empty space. Okay. Find the minimum of those two. Copy that down. And then I want to put these in order with the flights. So let's sort the list. So sort this list of flights by the minimum time in ascending order. Okay, let me update this a little bit. I want to see all of this. Probably have a problem with this. Delete that out. Okay. So those two, because there's my first flight. So then the one that was first, so this is sorting okay, but that is not. So I need to do a secondary sort. My second array would be go minimum flight and then your original departure time in ascending order. Okay. So now I have still those two flights, but now the earlier one is on top and the return flight is right after it. And then Sydney, okay, I think that's working. So I really only want to bring back on here column D. So D4 to D73, because I just need, yeah, those flight times. And then I'll give it a flight number. It's a sequence that is as long as that list is that I just got. Okay. Then what I want to do is look up the flight number they gave me in my list of flight numbers and return from my list of flights. CPTYYZ. Is that what I was expecting? Yes, okay, so that looks good for 51 through 70. Let's make level 4. Sequence of 20 starts at 51. And do a data table. These should be my level 4 answers. Level 5. So I now have 70 flights instead of 40, and I could have the 4-letter codes, and I have to filter for 15,000 miles. Okay, so on my sheet, let's bring in example 5. Okay, now some of my flights don't work because they're 4-letter codes. So everything that I've got here is built from this column. And if I can get that column to have the IATA codes instead of those 4-letter codes, then all of this will work again. Let me take those 3 and copy them over here. But okay, so it's split, and then let me get one more column, should be enough. Change to the IATA. This will be if the length of that is 4, then we need to do a lookup of that in the ICAO and return from the IATA. Close the lookup. But if it doesn't have length 4, then just return it. Excellent. And then same thing, but copy it over here. Do the same to that, to the destination. And then here, instead of being a text split going back to here, I just want to join those two. So have it be, take that code and join it to this code. And then all my codes are fixed, and then the origin and destination and return, all of that should work, and the sorted part should work. The only problem is that I have to eliminate any flights that are more than 1,500. And I'm going to do that right after here. So let's filter that data and look up those flights in the route code and return the distance. So you want to filter when that lookup of the distance is less than or equal to 1,500. Your distance less than 15,000. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, so there's our flights. They should be shorter, yes. Okay, so let's test it. Let's look up the flight they requested in our flight number array. Oh, that has to, okay, let's just keep it at 70. So they'll be the same length, and then return from, start at 70, go all the way up, okay. London, LAX, is correct. Okay, so this will be level 5. Sequence of 30 that starts at 71. Data table. What if table A1? Copy it, paste. Good. Those are all correct. Okay, so then on to the bonus questions. On the bonus questions, first one, out of all the possible flights, how many are not in the flight route? We have 103 flights. The total possible flights would be if you start at any one of the 12 cities and then you could fly to any of the other 11 and take out the 103 that we've got listed. Let's look at this one. We just did level 5. Which flight schedule in level 5 assigns flight numbers that are multiples of 3 to all flights that depart from Riga? Okay. So I need to filter all of these flights. Go down to 70 just in case. And include that the right of this 3 characters is the code for Riga, which was RIX. Oh, but it has to be the departing one. So instead of right, I want left. Okay, so departing from Riga, those are the numbers. Then I want to know, is it divisible by 3? So take the mod of that by 3. That isn't playing well with, what do you call it, with dynamic arrays. So I'll just make it long enough, and then let me sum it up. So if they're divisible by 3, then the remainder is 0, which is what the mod gives. And if they were all divisible by 3, then the sum would be 0. So this is the formula that I want. And let me refresh my data table. And if there's one where the sum is 0, there it is, flight 95. And last, throughout all the levels 1 through 4, which city is the most common destination? The most common destination. Okay, so let me just make a new sheet for this and get my data for all my cases. So I need these guys. And these guys. And those. And now where am I? I'm on level 3 and level 4. Okay, and then for each one of these, let's give them numbers. I think there are 70 of them on those first 3 levels, and we'll put an example one there, and then let's start right here. Get that one from here and return from there. split it. By rows. And then take the destination, which will be the right 3, and then get all of the possible destination cities, those codes, which is the IATA codes right here. And then I want to do a count ifs that thing equals this, block the row, and copy it over. Block this reference. And copy it over. That's a sum of 40. Should have been 20 flights. Let's look at 70. This gives me a sum of 70 destination cities. Okay, so I think that's working. So we just need to do those formulas for every one of these cities. So let's do, maybe put it equals right here. And make a data table for all of this. Based on cell A1. So go through all of the flights. And these only had one flight. Okay, so that looks good. Looks like it's all adding up. Okay. Then I want to sum. Let's do it up here. Sum all of those and carry that across. 32, 10, 229, 245, that's the winner. So that's the most popular, but which one is that? So look up CPT in the IATA codes and bring back the city. That's Cape Town. Okay. Looks good. Thank you for watching.